Hey traders, and welcome back to another live trading video. I'm taking a look at dollar yen, and I just picked up a buy trade on this currency pair. And in this video, this is going to be a raw start to finish trade breakdown of this pair. This is on a real account, no nonsense, no funny business, no MetaTrader 4. This is OANDA integrated with TradingView, so that you guys know I'm not just showing you demo profits or anything like that. And I think it is important with all the fake stuff that goes around on social media to show that. I'm looking at dollar yen, and my idea here is I'm bullish. The reason I am bullish, well, several factors, but from just a technical analysis perspective first, we're in a very strong uptrend. If we take a look at our moving averages, you can see our three moving average, the 20 period, the 50, and the 100 are all pointing in the upwards direction. This is just a really simple technical analysis tool that I use, is a combination of moving averages just to get an idea of market flow. We see this thing is trending pretty well to the upside. Now, even if you aren't using moving averages to quantify a trend, we could also highlight the fact that we see a series of higher lows and higher highs, right? And that's just another way of identifying trend, as there are many definitions of how to do that. With that said, if I go back down to the 4-hour chart, which is predominantly where I'm actually taking this trade off of, you can see that price has recently fallen from the previous highs and now is pulling back into this zone in green, where we have been finding a pretty good amount of buying pressure, at least propping us up on this zone. And I'm looking at this as a potential opportunity to buy the pullback in anticipation of a move higher. Where could we go? Well, in terms of a target zone, I'm thinking that we have a possibility of finding our way back up to the previous high around 145 on the dollar yen. So now that I have my idea of what we're doing, we're buying a pullback in an uptrend. Where's the stop loss? Well, you can see it right here. My stop loss, if we zoom in, you can see will be a loss of $800 if we are incorrect about this idea. So if I buy this and this market just tanks off of the highs here, then I'll just lose a total of $800, which I'm very willing to do if I'm wrong, because of the potential reward if I'm right. If we're able to catch a nice move to the upside here, if we start trending higher, put in some higher lows, higher highs, I'll look to trail stops. And this is how I look to manage winning trades, is if the market moves in my favor. So for example, let's say we get our path indicator here. Let's say we start making a move here. And this is just trying to plan for the trade ahead. If we start seeing something like this, what my plan would be is to essentially trail stops behind market structure. So what I mean by that is if price were to break through the highs here, we could potentially trail stops to break even. And then following price action, we could basically trail our stop behind previous swing lows each time that they occur. That's typically how my strategy from a purely technical side goes when I trade things on the currency market. So on top of that, I want to show you a little bit of the market data behind this trade. So we use a tool to help us find the trade setups that we take here at A1 Trading. We're a software company. We build tools around trading, and we also offer a Discord community where people can see the trades being taken and, more importantly, why they are being taken with full breakdowns. So speaking of this dollar yen trade, members got an alert just previously, just as I took the trade inside of the Discord. But here's the breakdown. If we take a look at the Edge Finder, what you'll notice is that we get a total score of 4 when looking at USD JPY. And scanning across the thing here, we can go through a quick reading. The COT data, which is the Commitment of Traders report, published by the CFTC, it shows the futures positions held by hedge funds, banks, and major players in the markets. When we look at it right here, what you can see is that the Commitment of Traders data shows that the US dollar, 76% of open futures contracts are oriented to the long side, showing us that smart money, if you will, for lack of a better term, is long. And if we look at the Japanese yen, it's actually the opposite. They're very short biased on the Japanese yen. Then if we go down the list, we take a look at retail sentiment, the crowd on dollar yen, based on retail position, is 73% short on average, which is pretty dang good, showing us that, okay, well, if the crowd is selling, we could potentially look to get long. Now we go down the list again, seasonality. The month of September is historically a very strong month for the dollar yen, and we are mid-September right now, so that adds to the confluence to the trade. If we take a look at the trend reading, we have a strong upward trend, as indicated in our technical analysis from earlier. Then if we look at fundamentals or economic data, we're pretty mixed with a slight bias towards the Japanese yen based on inflation, interest rates, GDP, and unemployment. We basically get a mixed sentiment there, with interest rates being more preferable towards the US dollar, but the rest favoring the Japanese yen. So overall, I use this tool to add confluence to my trade. This is really the ultimate confluence trade for traders to use because it allows us to analyze several real-world market data, market impacting metrics to our trade. So then taking a look back at the charts, we have everything in place. We have the entire plan laid out. We know what we're going to do if we're wrong. So we have a backup plan in case we're incorrect about this move. And we have a plan in case we make some money where we're going to look to trail stops using market structure. That alert has been sent out to members. Any updates that I make will be sent here. And remember, you can access this and the Edge Finder down below in the description and use those promo codes for discounts if you are interested. So with that said, we'll pause. We'll let this trade play out for a little bit. We'll come back to it once it's moved. All right, guys, quick update on dollar yen. We had a nice little rally off of this level, which you can see retested several times, but before finding its bearings here right around that 143 mark, rallying up to the top of consolidation. And key update here today is that we actually broke and closed outside of this level of resistance in this consolidation zone. So this has potential here. You can see we broke out of that level, we closed outside, and even if we drop it down to the lower time frames, if we look at the 1 hour chart here for a moment, what you can see is that we broke outside on this candle here. We rejected a bit, but found support at none other than this level of previous resistance, now acting as potential support. So looking pretty good, a good start to this trade for sure. What I would like to do is see if this thing can truly clear this area a little bit further before looking to really trailing stops. But we still have that idea in mind where we could retest that 145 level, which gives us a lot of room to run. I am willing to try and hold this thing. If it decides to chop around a little bit, I don't mind too much, as long as we don't break underneath this previous swing low. I'm just going to continue to hold this trade, as not only do I like the trade from a directional standpoint and technical analysis standpoint, it actually also offers a positive swap to hold dollar yen. If you don't know about the carry trade, positive swap collection is basically where you can actually get paid interest for holding trades overnight in the Forex world. And I'll put a video linked, or we'll make it so it pops up in the top right hand of the screen if you'd like to watch that video. So for now, we've got a nice little breakout, promising start to dollar yen, waiting to see if we can get a clean move or directional breakout to the upside again, and continue to make some gains on this trade. So from there, we'll pause, we'll come back once things get moving again. All right, guys, time for an update on USD JPY. Floating 1679, just about $1,700 on this trade. So starting to see a pretty good move here. And I wanted to go ahead and show you guys the update. I'm going to be locking in some stops here on this trade. Officially, we have seen this thing hit about a 2-to-1 risk to reward, which if we measure that up, you can see right there. So we just tagged about a 2R. And at this case, what I'd like to go ahead and do at this moment, I'd like to go ahead and lock in some stops on this trade. So here's the thing. I've actually been recently backtesting, and I plan to have a video on this one a little bit more detailed, but I've been recently backtesting, and I actually like the idea of trailing my stop a little bit looser than I usually or maybe have in the past. And part of the reason for that is what I find is that there's often moves like this, where you can see, had we just really tightly put our stops like right there, we might have just gotten tagged just before another rally. But now, after this rally, right, I'm pretty confident that I don't want to be in this move if this in fact breaks underneath this low. So in this case, I'm more than happy to go ahead and take my stop loss here and go ahead and move it just below this previous swing low, which of course, it doesn't lock in a massive profit, but it locks in about $487 of profit. In which case, if that gets hit, I still get to make money, and I get rid of a trade if it starts to go back the other direction. Because if I click modify, there we go, we are now locked in. At this case, you know, if this market does break underneath this low, then I'm definitely not really interested in holding the trade anymore, right? Because if we were to see price come back down to support, we want to see that thing rally very quickly and give us a new high and continue to trail higher, right? But if in fact we see the opposite, where it comes down pretty strong and just decisively moves underneath that low, that to me is no more trade, right? There's got to be a point where I just say, okay, well, get me out of this. I don't want to watch this trade go back into the negative, and there's no need to do so once I have such a nice little runner in my favor. Now, I don't want to trail stops. I mentioned I want to trail pretty loosely, right? I don't really want to put my stop loss way up here, right? Just because there may be some volatility that does, just normally retest support. And you have to be ready as a trader. Obviously as buyers, we want this thing just to go straight up for, a month straight, but we have to accept that within trends, there are pullbacks, right? So that's why we expected there to be some volatility. And had I trailed too tight, I could have gotten stopped out on just a completely normal retest move. So I'm looking to trail lightly. So at this point, here is where my stop loss is at, just at this level here. I am continuing to try and see if I can get a move back up to the previous high. But at this point, we now have a pretty profitable trade, and we can't take a loss on this move, which is a fantastic position to be in. So my stop loss is locked just here. Let me go ahead and put my stop loss color there so you can see it. So stop loss is just below the previous swing. And at this point, we're just going to give this some room to run. Now, today we have the Fed fund rate decision, which could be an interesting one to watch. So we're going to just leave some room here on the move and see if we can catch more swing to the upside. And I'll probably try and record that move so you guys can see it. Quick update for you guys on my dollar yen position. You can see we just had the Federal Reserve meeting, or the FOMC, where we basically heard from Jerome Powell, or we actually are, as we speak, hearing from Jerome Powell. And we're seeing a bit of a reaction here that is pretty incredible. We're seeing a pretty steep sell-off on my position. Of course, I still have my stop loss trailed here, and I wanted to sort of just highlight where I'm at with this. Of course, even during the news, I'm not going to make any rash decisions. I'm not going to close this, even if this thing does decide to come all the way down. That was the plan, and I'm going to stick to it. So we're floating still $800 at this point. We were up at one point here, almost $3,000. So of course, a little bit of a shoulda, coulda, woulda closed out here is going through my head, but that's trading 101, and that's why I do these videos, to give you an in the moment, sort of exposure to what a trader might be thinking during a trade. So I just want to say, of course, we are going to continue to stick to the plan. If this level does break, we will be out of the trade, and if this level is able to hold, of course, we will be looking to try and catch a move to the upside. I possibly could have made the argument to myself to trail stops prior to the news events a little bit tighter, but you just never know with news events. They can go all over the place. This thing could be back above the highs by the end of the day, or it could be back way down here. So, of course, at this point, plan is just to wait and see if we can hold on to this trade throughout the news event. All right, guys, there's good news and there's bad news. Which one would you like to hear first?
Okay, give me the bad news first.
The bad news? Okay, well, the bad news is that we ended up stopping out of the trade. You can see the price came down here, and we closed out our profit of, what was that? I think we had locked in about 450 or so. I'll pop it up on the screen for you guys. The editor will. But the good news, you guys, is check this out. We got the new setup in the office. So all that money that we made on this trade went right into this office. I'm just kidding. It's probably pretty close. I think we spent a couple $100s on all this stuff. But yeah, I figured, the room needed a little bit of a makeover, and I think it's looking cool. This light behind me really adds something to the room, but had to also rep the YouTube plate and all this sort of stuff. We've come a long way, and I just want to say, of course, this video is coming to an end. But before you go, I just want to say a special thank you to you guys for being such an awesome community. You guys, when I first started making YouTube videos several years ago now, I was actually really nervous about it because I thought that the YouTube community around trading would be like really toxic because, money, people trying to get rich quick. I figured it would be really, really toxic. But I feel like we've built a really beautiful community of really wholesome, good people that really want to take this stuff seriously and learn to trade the right way. So thank you guys for all the support. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did get something out of it, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And again, here's just a look at what happened. Basically, price broke through support. I'm not actually sure what the news was. I believe the Central Bank of Switzerland actually raised interest rates or something, but that yen got incredibly strong here this morning, and seeing a major crash underneath these lows basically just has me pausing on this initial buy. Now, I will, to be completely honest, I'm looking at this level and taking a look and seeing if this is worthwhile to me to potentially re-enter. Might be the next trade video. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Looks like it's time for your next trading video. Check out the videos here and here for more free trading content that should help you in your trading journey. We try and keep it real here, so make sure to subscribe for more content that is down to earth, realistic Forex trading content. See you in the next video.